I'm the GOAT. This is the first aid kit I take with me when I take anybody out in the woods to go hunting, fishing, diving, walking, long road trips, anything like that.
Are you going pig hunting?
We're talking about what we take when we go pig hunting. But yeah, we're going to go pig hunting pretty soon. Turkey season's over. Let's talk about the first aid kit, what you should have in there and why. Starting off on this side, I have a simple compression bag. Why do I need a compression bag? Because if you've ever been bitten by a snake, you have to kill the snake and carry the snake back with you so you can get the right kind of medication. You don't want to carry it in your hands. All right. Next we have hand warmers, basically any part of your body warmer. Fire, because you may need to light a fire for some reason. Barbecue lighters work a lot better, especially if it's cold out and you're trying to warm yourself up. Ice packs. Ice packs are great for injuries. They're also great if somebody's having any type of heat event or whatever. You have several of them. You can put them underneath their armpits, along their major blood vessels, and you can cool them down, as well as their head. Trauma blanket, treating people for things like hypothermia, heat injuries. Again, CPR mask, both for a child and for an adult. Very frequently, anytime you're around water, even driving around water, CPR mask, but good to have anytime. Okay, for wound care, super glue, otherwise known as Dermabond when they charge you $600 for it in the ER. Same thing, smells the same, works the same, glues everything together to include skin and tissue. I have a Hemcon bandage, I have Quick Clot, I have commercial wound sealer. I also have commercially bought blood clotting spray that you can spray down into a wound. Okay, once I got that, you have your cleaning, you have your hydrogen peroxide here, which very importantly does not sting. Alcohol can be used for the same thing. Does sting. We call this liquid pain. All right. Only thing worse than that is purple fire. If you don't know what that is, just feel lucky. All right. Once you get that stopped, we have several different kinds of bandages here. These are Israeli bandages, so we call them in the Army standard sterile bandages that have tails on them, so you can make a compression bandage. You can even make a tourniquet out of it. Once you've gotten all that stuff taken care of, you stop the bleeding and everything. You're starting to stabilize. This is called a pulse oximeter, $13 from Amazon. Slap it on their finger, push the little button, and it's going to tell you their pulse and their oxygen rate. You're going to find out if they have any type of lung injury or anything like that, but it's so much easier to just put this right here on their finger and hit the button than it is to try and do a count, calm down, take their pulse. Okay, this is much, much easier. Okay, getting into some of the more non-critical stuff, still important, but non-critical over on this side. Meds, things like that aren't as urgent. Lysol for cleaning off anything that's not an open wound. Even just cleaning off after a dive or after a hunt, cleaning off your hands. Cutter, because some people, like my lovely wife, have blood flavored like barbecue sauce for mosquitoes, and they're going to be miserable out there. We have sunblock. We have first aid spray. We have saline right here for washing off wound areas. Standard water. All right. Getting into some of the larger items. I have a blood pressure cuff here. There's some expense accrued here, but it's so worth it when you compare what's going to happen if you don't know what their blood pressure is, if they're having a heart attack or a stroke and you can't diagnose the problem. So worth it. Tape, black electric tape because it's waterproof. Standard, we call this 100-mile-an-hour tape. Some people call it Riggers tape. Very handy to have. Okay, moving right along. Rubber gloves, wet wipes for cleaning off everything so that you can basically clean off an area and have it sterile. Some meds that I have when treating people, standard stuff. If a kid's got a cold, fever, anything like that, you can diagnose, especially if it's your child and you have authorization to give them meds. Or if it's somebody else's child and you knew that you're bringing them and you have written permission to treat them and you know what their allergies are, very important. But I have itch relief cream, Mucinex, ibuprofen, baby aspirin. Baby aspirin is huge. Baby aspirin, if given to somebody who's experienced a stroke or a heart attack, all right, will reduce the chances of permanent damage by 90% if it's given to that person during the event. All right, 90% chance that they're not going to have, if they survive the event, they're going to have no bad effects from that. It's not going to damage their heart or their brain. It's huge. You need to ask permission before you give it to somebody unless it's a member of your family. But baby aspirin will literally save somebody's life right now, and it'll save them from the after effects of a traumatic event like a brain injury from a stroke or heart injury from having any type of pulmonary event. Moving right along from baby aspirin, I have allergy meds, both adult and child allergy meds. All right, you never know when someone's going to have an allergic reaction to a bug bite, insect bite, maybe something they ate. If somebody you didn't know has a mild peanut allergy, it's the first time that they're exhibiting from a bee sting, and they start losing their airway, and you're 20 minutes from the hospital, you need to probably try and give them Benadryl or a child's Benadryl if they're not allergic to it. All right, you give them that so that you can actually have the amount of time necessary to get them to either a emergency first responder. You can meet them on the way, or you can get them all the way to a good hospital or something. I have a Braun thermometer here just to see if somebody's running a fever, if they're all of a sudden feeling weak or whatever. Just do the standard mom or dad stuff and, take their temperature and stuff and diagnose and see what the issue is. Same thing, ear infections with kids. Nobody's ever as miserable as a child with an ear infection. These cost about $6 at CVS, and it gives you the light and the magnifier, everything that you need to see if they have an ear infection, or look in their ears, their eyes, and their nose, and all that stuff. Speaking of looking places, what I have is light sources here. These are your glasses. You can turn a light on so that your hands are free. Headlamp, lantern, backup pulse oximeter. Then I have a backup battery for a cell phone. So if you're getting information or anything for critical care for a kid or for an adult, for anybody, you plug the backup battery in the phone so that you don't lose your phone signal. These are all backup lights here. This light here is actually a UV light, so it will actually kill bacteria and stuff like that in or around a wound. It's also very unique looking if you have to signal somebody in a light-rich environment. Several different kinds of backup lights. Batteries for my lights. A compass, because sometimes people can't find you and you need to be able to shoot a direction from wherever they're at. All right, so it's a pretty simple thing, but you'd be amazed. Now, this is a dive compass. It's waterproof, works underwater, above water, no problem. The D-ring that I have it on is all non-magnetic. This is a 1 watt laser pointer. You don't need a 1 watt one. You can use one that's like, 500 milliwatts or whatever, but it's a very strong laser pointer. If you point it up in the air at night, someone's going to be able to see the beam, whether it be a plane, helicopter, somebody walking on the ground. They're going to be able to look up and see the beam, and they're going to be able to get back to you with the type of help that you need. All right, these things here cost way less than $100 now. This is the Arctic Fire. It's a couple years old, but still works very well. Okay, with knowledge comes responsibility. Yes, they will be able to see this. Any strong laser pointer. Do not point it directly at anybody or any aircraft, any type of vehicle. These things will blind you permanently faster than you can blink an eye. That's you, any animal, anything. You point it up in the air, it can be seen. The green color ones can literally be seen from space if they're in a dark area. They're that powerful. But you need to have the responsibility not to injure one of the first responders or somebody participating in a search. Because we're hunting, I have chest seals. A lot of this stuff you're not going to know how to use. A lot of this stuff you need to learn how to use. Take a class, watch another video, but you need to learn how to use it. Chest seals, if you get shot by anything, bow, gun, blow dart, whatever, and it puts a hole through your lung, you're going to have a chest seal on the front, and if it goes out the back, through the back, so that it basically, so you're not going to die from a collapsed lung and bleeding out from from that area. Cutters, because you're going to need to cut clothing and maybe even some tissue, but we have cutters here. I have several here. I also carry a knife on me. I have a backup cutter on my bag down here for seat belts, but cutters are very important. Sling material here. This is just an ace bandage tied into a sling. This is actual sling material. Right here, some paper clips. These are splints here that can be used for a sling or to splint any type of broken bone. They're semi-rigid, which means you can roll them out. They have foam-covered metal, and you can form them into anything and then wrap them up in a bandage, and you have basically a cast, which gives a great deal of comfort and support to anybody. For your eyes here, I have eye wash. This actually has eye wash in it, and it's basically saline, but it's pressurized, so you can wash anything out of somebody's eye. Say, for instance, if they're hurt. Rehydration solution. This is oral IV. This is going to give you everything that you need. Very concentrated if somebody's going through a dehydration event. You can also use Gatorade mixed with water. Anything with low sugar. If somebody's dehydrated and you hand them something that's high in sugar, sugar requires water to digest, and so they're going to go through sugar dehydration. Bad. More bandages. I have this bandage here because this is my splint area here, or I'm sorry, my tourniquet area here, correction. And this type of bandage can also be used as a tourniquet. I also have a rubber tourniquet. My actual high-speed black tourniquet with the built-in handle is actually lent to a person right now that's a bounty hunter. He needed it going after some pretty hardcore people who are out on bail right now. This is more bandage material for broad areas here. Say, for instance, you respond to somebody had a motorcycle accident, road rash. So you're going to spray it over this with some type of material, whether it be wound wash or hydrogen peroxide, and you're going to bandage them up. This is all Curlex type materials, sterile bandages that are in Ziploc bags, so that I can do the same thing. Again, more sterile bandages here. This is the end-all be-all CVS Special Variety Pack Band-Aids. Any ouchies experienced by anybody on the soccer field, ball field, in the pool, whatever, sterilize them, put Band-Aids on them. So here we have nausea, otherwise known as specimen or pee bags. If you have kids, like I have these two monsters right here, one of them had to go to the bathroom in a Subway really bad when we did a New York City adventure on Christmas. And it worked out to be a very convenient urinal in the middle of a moving Subway. Okay, this is a cell phone. This is not a first aid device. This is a communications device, perhaps a research device for some of you. It's great for calling people. It's great to work into your plan in case there's an emergency by dropping a pin when you get to a location, letting people know exactly where you're at, perhaps even communicating with a 911 operator via text if they have that capability, so you can drop a pin so people can come to you. It is not for you to open up and try and do research on how to do first aid when something bad happens. If that happens, the person that you're working with or working on, or yourself, are in a world of hurt. Do not wait until something bad happens to try and figure out what the solution is. It's like having a car with no spare tire when you're going to go off-road. Really bad idea. It's not going to work out well most of the time. You might get lucky 1, 2, 20 times. When it finally happens, there's not going to be a positive outcome. So again, not a first aid device. This is a communications device. So, after going through all this, just understand that you need to do an assessment, look at all the risks and the conditions that you're going through. One of the things that I didn't mention, but I have right here, this is a beacon. This will call the Coast Guard from thousands of miles away. I'm not going to take it on a road trip, but I will take it anytime I'm going out on the water. All right, it's a simple device, take some batteries, you program it, and it's done. But you need to understand that that's going to be a risk. Heart disease is #1 killer in America. Therefore, I carry aspirin with me. All right, if somebody is allergic, make sure they carry their EpiPen. Your first aid kit's a backup. They still need to be responsible and carry the things that they need. If they're an asthmatic, please have an inhaler. All right, if you have high blood pressure, make sure you have extra meds with you. If you're a diabetic, have the kind of food that you need and have a test kit for your blood sugar. All right, these are the things that any parent is going to be able to tell you. Maybe not any parent. Probably want to talk to mom But, you know, if dad's the only one you can ask, you need to probably have him think about it, you know. But, I mean, talk to the parents before people go out, and you need to have a serious conversation. Bad stuff happens to good people because they don't think anything's going to happen. Bad stuff happens all the time to good people. Right? You need to be prepared for it. If you're going to go out and do something that you don't normally do, that's atypical, all right, then what you're going to do is make sure that it's a safe and fun environment, as safe as you can make it. Right? If you're out in the woods hunting pigs or hunting turkeys, it's not a super safe environment because there's firearms involved or bows involved. There's going to be snakes out there. There's going to be wild animals that they get a choice. All right, if you're hunting dangerous prey, bears, mountain lions, something like that, they get a vote. They can try and take you out. You need to understand the environment that you're in. It's all good. Guys, be responsible. I'm fully licensed in the state of Georgia, Alabama, I'm fully licensed. And I hunt to basically and spearfish and fish to the limit of my abilities. I don't go out trying to explore my limits because if you do that, you'll find them. But we go out and have a very good time. I'm teaching my sons to be good hunters, good sportsmen, good conservationists. That's the way that we're going to keep all this stuff around for our sons and our grandsons and everything. It's very reasonable, you know. Okay. Well, I'll have some more videos up on hunting and things of that nature. If you like what I'm putting out, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please do so. All right, you know, taking your kids out, sons, daughters. I have sons. You know, it's a great thing. It's a great motivator. It's a great thing for spending quality time and fellowship with your family members. And just remember, when you say, at least when I say hunting to my kids, 5 minutes later, they're looking at me like, Dad, why aren't you ready? It takes me an hour and a half to get them ready for school. I can't get them ready for soccer in under 45 minutes, and they love playing soccer. I say hunting, and they have everything they have jammed into backpacks, and they're waiting in front of my truck for me to go. And they're like, Dad, can we get the combination of the gun safe so we can get our guns out? Because and the answer to that is always no. No. But they're very motivated to go hunting and fishing. Currently, what they want to do is go after triple tail and amberjack right now and do some red fishing. I live in central Georgia, so that's going to require some funding and boat and all that other stuff. I'm working on those details and all the safety equipment that goes along with it. After that, again, we're going to do some more pig hunting, and we're going to talk about caliber selection for pig hunting, because if it was up to my boys, we'd be shooting this stuff. And I'm not calling an Inspector Gunship on no kinetic strikes on pigs, but this would be up to them. These are the biggest shell casings I could find for them, and they're delighted to have these in their collection.